All right, awesome. Okay, I think we are about underway.
Yeah.
So, Adrian, why don't you introduce our next speaker?
Yeah, Kori, I hope you didn't hear all of the nice things I was saying about you. I was hoping to get that in before you jumped on.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
No, I meant every word of it. I really enjoy working with you. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So with that said, for everybody else that's joining, this is Kori Ashton from AskKori.com. So, quick bio, quick background on Kori. So the first time on stage, she was actually singing at a church when she was 4 years old. She's been on a stage ever since, either speaking, singing, or performing live paintings. She's been an entrepreneur from a young age, having sold her first company for a profit at the age of 12. That's amazing.
That's impressive.
As a lifelong entrepreneur, it was only natural that she started a web development firm, niched in WordPress. She partnered with her parents in 2012 to launch Webtegrity. And during that time, she was listed as one of 7 women who ran tech startups in San Antonio to watch. And just 4 short years later, she was ranked 6th in San Antonio and then sold the company to experience another dream of becoming millionaires. So, she's actually still the CEO of Webtegrity and spends the days helping small to medium-sized businesses grow their digital footprint. So with that said, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Kori.
Thank y'all so much. I am blown away by the resources y'all have had already in this webinar. I mean, I'm learning from the start with Kori talking about how to envision your growth and what to start, what to stop, I'm blown away. I'm looking at all of it going, how are y'all doing this? And why aren't we doing this every other month, at least quarterly? And I'm sure y'all are planning on that, but thank you to everybody who's taken a moment to pop in here and be a part of the webinar today. I'm gonna show you my slides and get to it and talk about what it looks like to grow our teams. Let me present here, see if it'll open up for us. All right, y'all. Can y'all see that?
Yes, ma'am, we can see it.
Fantastic. All right. So I was blessed to start as a freelancer, just like many of you. This was my office, sitting on my couch, working from home, meeting a lot of my clients in coffee shops, and kind of living the dream, footloose and fancy free. Wasn't really sure what all I wanted to do with it. I knew it was paying the bills and thought, all right, I could keep doing this, not too bad. But then as I'm getting older in life, some of you might be here, I realized that I was gonna have to probably start taking care of my parents soon. So believe it or not, that prompted me to ask them to partner with me in business. So in 2012, we launched Webtegrity. These are my folks here on the right of your screen, Rusty and Joy, and they were literally my 2 business partners. My dad took care of support for email support and domain name registration and migrations, and my mom was our accountant from her home. And we ended up getting a little tiny brick and mortar space above a Starbucks. That was our claim to fame, y'all. And I purposely did that because I thought, well, even if we look dead, Starbucks will always be busy. So certainly we will look very active. It looks like we have a lot of clients all the time. It's a good thing. Plus I could treat clients to coffee, so it worked out. Just a few years later, we ended up growing the team and moving into our own building where we were very blessed to have 8, 10, 15 team members is about where we've landed now. Currently today, we have 22 team members. And just very blessed to grow it out. And I share this with you because I want to show you what the vision can be. This morning when Kori started the webinar, she shared with us that you have to have kind of a line of sight, or at least an end goal in mind. What are you doing to reach that end goal? What's your vision, big picture of maybe your exit strategy? What does this look like? For me and my vision, it was, how do I grow a company where I can get my parents' retirement over $1 million? How do I do that? And how do I maybe at that point either stay with it because I love it and I'm passionate for it, or I'm ready to move on, I can pivot out and go do something else. How can I grow that in a 5 to 7 year time period? That was my head down, that was my logic. How do I do that? And we were able to accomplish that. And I'm going to show you a couple of the key things that we learned through that process, some very painfully learned through that process. But 2 years ago, we were acquired for over $1 million. At that point, we were ranked 3rd in San Antonio for web development overall. So very, very blessed to have a really great, strong team. But one of the very early things I learned from a mentor who shared this with me, I want us all to repeat after me, and I can't hear you, so if you need to yell this, that's okay, but repeat after me: don't hire until it hurts. I really need y'all to understand that. Don't hire until it hurts. One of the mistakes I made early on was trying to look too big. And there's no reason for that other than pride. Sometimes you think you have to have a large team in order for a large project. You do not. You just have to be really good at what you do. So understanding that it's good to have a team around you. And right now, if you're catching this webinar, you're probably considering, what does that look like to grow out my team and maintain my profit margin? But at the same time, understand that it's okay to be a solopreneur. If that's your vision, it's okay to have a quote unquote small team. That's phenomenal. You can give a lot more attention. You can be a lot more flexible. You can pivot more quickly as a small, lean team. So keep that in mind. But if you are turning down work right now because you're too slammed, if you are having longer turnaround times, so you're actually losing clients because you're telling them, unfortunately, I can't get started on this for another 3 to 4 weeks because you understand your boundaries, you might be losing clients. Another thing is, are you unable to accept larger projects? Maybe you yourself are not fully capable of doing every bit of the scope of work that a potential client wants you to do for them. So if you're trying to expand your projects and your contracts and you're unable to do that because of your own skill set or your own limited knowledge, then maybe it is time to hire. And that's a great place to be in. For me personally, I am not a PHP developer at all. I can plug in a plugin and I will lean on that all day long. But for the most part, I knew that I wanted to be able to develop custom themes for clients. More and more, I kept having clients come in that wanted little cool nuances or cool ideas that a plugin really wasn't meeting their needs, or I really needed to customize the heck out of that plugin to get it to where they were in love with the project. So I ended up starting to look for other resources to help me begin to code, custom code PHP. Seriously, I can only spell it. That's about as far as I get with PHP. So growing your right team helps in several ways. And I'm highlighting the phrase, the 2 words, right team, because Kori spoke on that this morning. How do you actually know that you're having the right team? Because this is the thing, you're gonna end up coming in, having a few team members come in that are just not the right fit. And it's okay to understand that those are not the right fit. But how do you actually have a plan in place to grow the right team? And when you have those right team members in place, what can that ultimately do for you? It can improve your services, it can improve your process, and overall it can improve your health in a couple of different ways. So let's talk through that. So how can it help improve your services? You can hire team members who know more than you know. So if you're not into SEO, don't go try to learn SEO. There's way too much to that. Subcontract that out. Find a team member, find somebody networking at a WordCamp, find somebody local who can partner with you to offer SEO services. White label that, put that inside of your project, your proposal, and start selling those types of services. Don't feel like you have to go Google everything and have to know everything yourself. You'll notice when you start to hire other team members who know more than you, you can scale more quickly. You can breathe a little easier too. It's kind of nice. I want to pause for a minute though and think, can a vendor meet that need? So one of the things I identified very early on was that I needed help with migrating websites. When my dad began to get a little older and wanted to be out on his boat more than he wanted to be in the office, we had to figure out, all right, who can help me with migrations? We realized very quickly that our hosting company, Liquid Web, can do that for me. So that was a huge help to say, I don't have to hire somebody to do that for me. My hosting company can do that. Answering technical questions, troubleshooting a website that went down. Maybe I can get on a support chat with my hosting company and have them be that solution for me so that I don't have a panic attack while a client's website is down. Understand that you don't always have to have an employee sitting in a seat taking a salary, that you can partner with the right vendors to make that solution a reality for you. So another thing you can do to improve your service is when you hire the right hearts. And I'm going to challenge you on this one because many times in my team, I have had the right skill set walk through the door with the wrong heart attached to it. And meaning that maybe they weren't so service-minded. They were more just kind of a cog in the system. They were just there to do work. They weren't there to invest in the company. They weren't there to invest in relationships with other team members. They weren't there to invest with clients, to really take ownership of projects. When you can find the right hearts, you can always teach the right skill set. So I'm going to challenge you that when you connect with somebody in a networking setting, at a WordCamp, in a local meetup, or something like that, you connect with somebody, remember that person and think to yourself, I want to circle back to them and see if they'd be a right fit. Maybe I can help teach them. Once they learn how I do something, they'll be the right fit to take over that project inside of my process. I'll give you an example. I've hired several team members who have attended my weekend workshops or my 6-week courses that I teach. They'll come in as a student, eager to be a freelancer, excited to go be an entrepreneur. And I see that entrepreneurial spirit, and I see their willingness and their heart to help people. And I look at them and I go, my word, not only do you have that type of attitude, but you're also asking the right questions when it comes to technical side of WordPress. That's the type of person I want on my team. So absolutely be looking for that type of connection, because that's how you start to grow the right team with the right focus, all rowing in the same direction. So how can it improve your process? You can hire for specific roles as you grow. What I found is, as a small team, we tend to be jack of all trades. Everybody can do everything. And that's good whenever you're lean and small. But as you grow and you become a larger team, it's better if you have people who are very specific in their role, because then you can say, okay, you're no longer the salesperson, the designer, and the developer. We'll let you take a little bit of a break. How about you just focus on developing? And now for this week, you can spend 40 hours developing projects. So when you have that type of bandwidth, you have that much work in there, you can easily have that, that type of role. You can hire for that and be much more efficient in your process. And then it also helps you, hopefully, if you do it and you're willing to do it, you need to delegate, y'all. This is tough for me because as an entrepreneur, as a very much type A personality, I would prefer to do it myself. This is where a lot of freelancers get ourselves in trouble. So I want you to hear me on this. A lot of us think, well, I want to keep the money in my pocket. That's first thing. Next thing we think is, well, it's going to take me just as long to teach them how to do it the way I would do it versus doing it myself, so I'll just do it myself. That's not scalable, and that's not something that you can ultimately have grow into something that has larger margins, larger profit, more projects, scalable, right? So think about that in your process. Understand how to delegate tasks appropriately to their skill set. If you don't have somebody on your team that can't handle that project, teach them, offer training, or hire for it. But somewhere along the lines, you have to delegate. I'm going to give you an example that's extremely humbling for me to share with you. But one of the things I spotted late is that I was the bottleneck in my company. As the head gal who was the first on all the sales calls and kind of vetted the clients, made certain they were the right fit for our team, and did all the proposals and all the contracts and onboarding and the discovery, and then handed off to my team, I realized that I truly was the bottleneck for clients coming in. And unless I scaled myself, replicated myself, I would not have additional revenue streams coming in. They all have to bottleneck to me. That's a problem in a scalable model. So be certain that you understand how to delegate. If you have trust factors like I do, just begin to trust more and watch your team members, if you've hired the right hearts, step up and really surprise you. I've been blown away. The more I delegate out and trust my team, every time without fail, the more they have stepped up and said, I've got this, boss, let's run with it. Blown away by that in our process. So how it helps improve your overall health? It improves the overall health of the company. You become a stronger entity as you have more team members who are in the right positions, being given the right leeway, the right trust to run in those roles and to perform well in those roles. It's also going to help the mental and physical health of you as the owner of the company, for me, my word, I could never shut it off. It was so difficult as an entrepreneur to go home and turn it off, because I was still support. I was still the one migrating websites after hours and dealing with my hosting company to get that done. I was still trying to figure out how to market my company. I was trying to figure out, oh my word, I haven't blogged this month. I got to go blog for my own website so I practice what I preach. You cannot do that, you guys. That is not healthy. 90 miles an hour for 5 years is exhausting. So understanding how to hire the right team members, bring in the right help, whether it's a vendor or whether it's an actual team member coming in, will seriously give you a moment to breathe and rest. And it will also ultimately, if you do it right, help your financial health. It's going to allow you to have larger margins, take on more projects, and scale your process. So you can imagine if currently as a freelancer, you're averaging anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 a month in revenue. If you duplicate yourself and keep the margins at 50 to 60%, you're going to be immediately having more revenue, as well as able to pay that other person on your team. Right now, it's just a matter of understanding who to bring on and what to delegate to that person. Really, that's just part of it. For me, I hired subcontractors first. That's the way I moved forward. So a lot of times, the biggest question is, where did you find people? My problem is I can't find the right people. So I went to local meetups and started finding other freelancers who were trying to network in the WordPress world or in small business or in marketing meetup groups. And there's all sorts of opportunity to go out into your city and network with people. WordCamps are a great spot to find other incredible people in the same mindset, excited about the same types of products, already familiar with the products and ready to move forward with you. There are a lot of different Slack channels you can network inside of. I have Press Tribe that we run. There's WordPress itself has its own Slack channel. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities that you can be a part of to engage with. Code camps. San Antonio has several code camps here in our city, and that's where I've hired as well. I've hired 7 different graduates from a 16-week boot camp here in town. They didn't come out knowing WordPress, but they came out knowing PHP, and some of them had amazing hearts, and I was like, get over here, I'll teach you WordPress. They caught on to WordPress in 2 to 3 weeks, we're off and running. So code camps are a great place to start, especially as those folks are transitioning into a new career. They're a little bit less scared about coming in for a little bit of a lower salary because they understand it's an entry-level position. And then co-work spaces are a great spot. San Antonio, again, has Geekdom. There's a lot of different WeWork. There's a lot of different co-share working spaces in communities these days. Get down there, network. You're going to find other freelancers with opportunities to hire as subcontractors. Reason why I looked at subcontractors is a lot of them, especially if they're just starting out in the industry, you can pay by experience. What that means is you can tell them, hey, come do this with me, come do this project with me, take on these specific roles in the project, and put it on your portfolio. There's your payment. You can say that you did it. You can say you learned. I'll teach you. We'll walk through it. Maybe you don't understand SEO, but you want to learn SEO. I'll teach that to you, and you handle all the PHP. You can also pay by hourly involvement or by project, flat rate. If they're really just starting out and you know that they're probably going to take 60 hours to do something that should only take 20 hours, you can bargain with them typically and say, hey, you know, let's meet somewhere in the middle. I'll pay you 30 hours, flat rate. Let's get this done. I also requested, you cannot require because they're subcontractors, I requested that they work in office with me. One of the reasons was it kept our team together and on the same page in a project. We could pivot very quickly together. They would also be available to the client if the client was coming in to the conference room to have that meeting with me. So that worked out really well, kept us always on the same page. I also requested exclusivity as much as possible, meaning while you might have your own projects as a freelancer, I would prefer to be your own agency that you work directly with, because I have a lot of other competition here in town, and I would really like you to partner with me and be exclusively available to me, and let them know what sort of work range you can give them every week. Tell them, hey, I can give you 20 hours absolutely every single week. I want a commitment for that with you. Another reason why is they provided their own equipment, their own software. I didn't have to provide computers for everybody. I didn't have the money, so I was leaning on them, and they were coming to the table ready to work, very excited to work. The other thing is no benefits, You don't have to provide that if they're subcontractors. So there's opportunity there to understand it's not as scary as you might think to start the first step of partnering with somebody. For me, I guess the scariest part was, what if they go MIA and now I'm held liable for that inside the project with the client? Hire the right heart. This won't happen. And if it does happen, you've got a ton of us here. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us in the Slack channels. You can find us at meetup groups. And we're ready to step up to the plate and help either network and find you somebody else, or help troubleshoot, talk to a vendor, say, hey, I don't know what happened, but this guy went MIA on me and I got to get this website live. Can you guys help us roll this live? There's always opportunity to do that. So what is the right vision for your team? What's the vision for your right team? How do you grow this thing? Is this something you want to do? Is this something you want to tell yourself, all right, by the end of the year, I'm going to be working with one new person, and that new person needs these different skill sets because I don't have those yet. And I've seen opportunity, or I could have added that to my project, grown my margin, grown my profit, and I had to pass on it every time. So that's the type of person I want. Those are the skill sets I want. How do I network and find that person? If you can do that, I mean, literally my first hire was a junior college student here in town who needed her work visa. And she came in working really inexpensively, an amazing designer, because I was not. I was a great sales gal, and that's about it. And so we would find themes and she would design them and we would sell those to the client. And that started my process. And then I went after a PHP developer to help me start doing more customization and moving us from just using themes to actually using custom themes. That was my process. Be methodical about it. Don't just shoot from the hip every time and think that, well, I need more team members because I need to look like there's 5 of us walking into this conference room. There's a reason to hire every time. You need to have a strategy behind it. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I don't know if we have time for questions or not. How'd I do, y'all? Are we okay on time?
Yeah.
They're looking good. That was great. I feel like I want you as my life coach, not just a work buddy.
He's for hire, Adrian. It's askkori.com.
Oh, is that what it is? What are the odds?
Right?
I feel the same way about you guys. I mean, seriously, the partnership that I've found with Liquid Web has been more than just a vendor for me. I think the hearts that I've found there, I mean, to be able to sit down with your COO and have a conversation, just phenomenal. And for y'all to be so available to us, and for some of your support team members to be so available to us, it's just been an incredible ride for us. And I appreciate you being my vendor that has made a lot of these steps that I'm talking about possible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, you know, Steve and Nathan both had really good points about, you know, not disparaging and understanding that there are a lot of different companies that have similar offers. So it's where you place your value, and it's where we hang our hat. And you know, being available is a huge value asset to a lot of our clients. And I'm glad that that was able to come through to you. I mean, that's, you know, one of the biggest things that we try to do is be here, right? And that's one of the biggest things that when we do onboard new partners, we ask them, hey, what do you need? And it's rarely, you know, money. It's rarely anything other than, I just want you to be there because I need help. I'm a small business and I just want you to pick up the phone, please. You know, so that's really where we feel like we excel. So, you know, there's a lot of great companies out there, and I think we've done a pretty good job finding our corner and planting our flag in that personalized feeling.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kori. I really appreciate you coming on. Again, love to hear you speak. Love to hear the values that you use. I love to hear the success story and you know, how personal you make it with your family. It's awesome.
I'm very blessed, and it's been a fun ride. And now, having been acquired and moving on now into enterprise level work, it's just been kind of mind blowing. I'm learning every day and seeing our team. When we sold the company, we had just over 230 clients, and now we manage nearly 1,000 clients. And so it's just been a phenomenal leap forward in a year and a half now, about 2 years that we've sold. So it's been good. I appreciate the opportunity to share. If anybody has questions or you want to win the giveaway that we're doing, be sure to follow the instructions that Lindsay and Adrian will give you. I'd love to connect with one of you and sit down. Love to connect with more than one. So tweet to me, reach out to me, come be a part of the community.